Koma put our opponent in a coma. Hello, my friends, it's Johnaroth, and today I'm stepping away from the Edge of Eternity's commanders for this video to fill out a request for one of my amazing and awesome viewers, Archer CJS, really good person. He asked if I could look into a Koma Cosmos Serpent build. Koma cost 3 colorless, 2 green, 2 blue for a 6/6. He cannot be countered, which is a big deal against blue decks. And at the beginning of each upkeep, you create a 3/3 blue serpent creature token named Koma's Coil. You can sacrifice a serpent, it could be any serpent, but usually the coils, and choose one. Tap target permanent. Its activate abilities can't be activated this turn, so you can tap down creatures or stop abilities that you are concerned about. Or Koma gains indestructible until the end of the turn, which is a big deal against board wipes and those types of things. So when we have a commander that is epic like this, an army in a can, but costs a lot of mana, you have to build your deck around that type of aspect. So we have a lot of ramp cards in here: Utopia Sprawl, Delighted Halfling, Birds of Paradise, Arboreal Grazer. We have cards that gain us additional mana or additional benefit when we play lands, like Lotus Cobra or Tireless Provisioner. We have cards that allow us to play additional lands on our turns, like Planar Genesis, Uro, etc. Getting all that mana out so that we can get our commander onto the battlefield and just be a huge threat and presence. The other aspects of this deck are we do have, because we're in blue, we have a lot of control counter spells like Mana Drain, Counterspell, Tail's End, etc. A ton of counter spells. So what do we do with all that mana? Well, we have a lot of top end effects that are huge. The Great Henge gets you life, draws you more cards, builds up your creatures. Crater Hoof Behemoth can win you the game by itself. Bonnie Paw is a kind of another army in the can, and Primeval Titan and Lumra can get you lots of lands onto the battlefield while being huge threats. So let us take Koma Cosmos Serpent into the queue and see if we can put our opponents in a coma. Let's go. Our very first game is against Hearthhole the World Seed, Jonathan Badwolf. This hand does have a decent amount of land to it, and it has Ancient Tomb and Cultivate, so I'm gonna keep it. We're gonna try it. This is risky. We don't even have any blue mana, but we can get there. Down a forest. Hearthhole I just did a deck on. It's a 6/7 station. Basically, you can sacrifice a land to draw 2 cards. When it's fully crewed, it's a 6/7 flying vigilance haste. Whenever you sacrifice a land, each opponent loses 2 life. So this is going to definitely be a landfall type deck. We're going to put down the Ancient Tomb. We're going to cast Cultivate here. Get some more lands. Definitely going for some islands. So yeah, let's take them. Put down 1 on the field. Pass the turn. I'm just going to keep ramping. That's my goal right now. Oh, he has Strip Mine. Wow. Well, that puts a little bit of a damper in our plan, but luckily we at least got 1 turn benefit out of it. Okay, let's put down a island. Let's do some more ramping here into the north. Let's get a forest. Still feel like we're ahead. Opponent's gonna try to cast Fenrir to put another land on the battlefield tapped. We're gonna say no. We're not gonna let them do that. Let's get out the Carotid. Misty Rainforest. We're drawing all our big spells here, which is interesting. We can get out Koma next turn, though, which is good, or Bonnie Paw. Okay, our opponent's going for the Hearthhole. He can crew it with the bird. I'm going to go for a Hedge Maze Surveil. Mana Drain. We're going to keep that, that's for sure. Let's put down a land. I'm actually going to do a little bit of an unorthodox move here. We're going to get out Bonnie Paul. Just because we can present a serious threat on the battlefield this turn and draw cards. Our opponent has Ice Till Explorer, which is not good because that means he can destroy our lands every single turn. So now we're in a race. Now we're definitely in a race because he can destroy 2 lands every single turn right now. That hurts. That really hurts. Gonna continue to crew on his Hearth Hole. Put down a land. Let's swing in with Bonnie Paul and our Cowbow. Let's put out... Put down the breeding pool here. Hit him for a ton. Let's then get out our Great Henge. Then let's go ahead and get out our Delighted Halfling, and we're going to keep up the mana for the Mana Drain. Ooh, Nykthos. I think we've got a potential for a good hand here. Actually surprised, well, he probably needs the mana at this point. He can't just keep doing Strip Mine over and over again and not have enough mana to cast anything. Gonna use Blood Chief's Thirst on Bow. Do we want to let that happen? I'm gonna say no. It's one spell, but I think it's gonna make enough of a difference for our next attack. Opponent's down to 11. Opponent's gonna mill another card. Opponent's going for the Strip Mine, attack multiple lands a turn. Normally this would be pretty scary, but we do have a decent amount of mana that isn't tied to our lands at this point. Great Henge, Delighted Halfling, and the Caryatid. So let's see what our opponent does. Opponent's going to cut down the Halfling. Opponent's going to Strip Mine our breeding pool. Perfectly fine. Opponent's going to sacrifice a card to, or a land to draw some cards. 2 mana left. Opponent's going to dismember Bonnie. Down to 7. Do we have enough? I think we do have enough. I think we're fine. If we can get out the Crater Hoof. That's the one catch of this whole situation. Opponent's really trying to keep us from having enough mana to do anything. Let's put down the Nykthos. Let's get out our Crater Hoof. Let's get them. And that, my friends, is enough to win our very first game. Even facing multiple strip mines every turn, the power of the hoof still prevails. Good game. Go first against Ragavan. Luckily, we do have a way of stopping Ragavan from turn 1, so I'm going to try this. This could still be very difficult for us. We're kind of a slow ramp type deck, and Ragavan is the opposite of slow. Let's Strict Serenade Ragavan here. Let's put down a Forest, keeping up the Divert Disaster is another counterspell measure. Okay, Hazaret. Nope. Not gonna let you have that either. Sorry. It's gonna hit us for 2. What do we have? What could we do? Is it Uro time? I think it is Uro time. Let's get out Uro, gain a little bit of life back. We'll get to put down another land here. Negate, not really what we need right now. I'm hoping we can get a reusable land, like Misty Rainforest, those types. Unfortunately, we did not. The question is do we take another turn here trying to get another land? I don't think so, not yet. Let's put down the walk-in closet and let's get out a Delighted Halfling. How many cards do we have in the graveyard? 4. We unfortunately need 5 other cards to... Is he going to kill the Halfling? He is. Ugh. And exile too, so we can't even use it for the graveyard to get Uro. So we are in a little bit of trouble here. Oh, and he drew a Reclamation Sage so we can kill our walk-in closet. That's pretty... That's like our only artifact enchantment removal in the deck, and our opponent draws it. That's interesting. I'm going to go ahead and try to take another turn just to draw a card. Usually this is not a great move, but we are behind here, so we need something. Okay, we did get a Yavimaya Coast. Let's get out Koma. Koma can turn the tide for us. Hopefully. A Serpent. Mono Red does struggle to deal with card like Koma because it has such a high toughness. The Screaming Nemesis here. Interesting that he didn't play that first, but okay. Let's get out Uro, gain some life. Now we're going to turn the tables on the aggression here. I have no need to have that be untapped. We're going to swing in with some of our creatures here. That's 9 damage. That's a lot. Opponent can do 3 damage in whatever way he wants. Goes for face, perfectly fine. I'm gonna end the turn here. Opponent is just going for all-out face for us. Interesting strategy. Usually that works with mono red, but I don't know if he can outrace us now. Let's see what he does. Because I'm going to be very aggressive against our opponent for the rest of this game. We've got to kill mono red. Yeah, I'm not going to let him have Annex. That's just too much. Yeah. Way too much value. We're going to swing in for a ton, even if he blocks with Ragavan and the Reclamation Sage. You've got too many coils here to deal with. Koma is just too powerful of a presence on the battlefield against the mono red deck. I was a little worried in the beginning because a mono red deck with Ragavan can get off to an early start and basically win the game before you get out your commander. But we were able to get our lands and mana get together enough to get Koma on the battlefield. And once you have Koma on the battlefield versus a mono red deck, all they can really hope for is direct or flying damage at that point. So good game. Next game is against Ashnod, Flesh Mechanist. So this is more than likely a artifact deck. This hand does have a decent amount of ramp in the beginning, so I'm going to go ahead and keep this. Yeah. Ashnod, I know it looks like a mono... Oh, we drew a Chrome Mox. That is very useful, actually, to us. Let's go ahead and get a breeding pool here. Let's get out the Chrome Mox. I'm going to put the Birds of Paradise underneath it, and then we're going to get out the Carotid. We've got a lot of really good ways to ramp here. Ashnod's a 1/1 where basically when it attacks you can sacrifice another creature and create power stones. So this is it's mono black, but what it really is an artifact deck. What do we want to do here? Let's get out the Tireless Provisioner, though more than likely he will kill it. I am going to put down a island and get a treasure. The link breaker, really good card to sacrifice when you're piloting Ashnod. Ashnod's going to swing in, sacrifice to get a power stone. We're going to cast Planar Genesis, looking for another land. If he wants to kill the Provisioner, he can. I'm going to let the Carotid die for the Edict. And let's get a forest onto the battlefield, which will get us another treasure. We're going to say no blocks. The Ice Till Explorer, which is going to allow us to play lands from our graveyard here. We can actually play another land from the graveyard. And then we're going to sacrifice the Flooded Strand to get another land. Let's go for an island here. Now let's cast Roiling Regrowth. We're going to sacrifice the island here to get some more lands onto the battlefield. This time I'm going to go for some forests. Look at all that treasure. Look at all that treasure. Now let's cast Garrick's Uprising. I'm going to swing in with the Tireless Provisioner because I'm not blocking with that. Look at all the mana we got on that turn. Icetail Explorer is a really good card. It's a very interesting, powerful card. And on our turn, we're definitely going for Koma. Our opponent has a Nettle Cyst. Opponent is going to get a lot of artifact type tokens here, but I do think as long as he doesn't have anything too crazy, we're gonna be okay. Oh my gosh, Oracle of Medaya. Okay, I think we're in pretty good shape here. Plus we can play lands off the top of our deck. Let's cast, well, first let's put down a Flooded Strand. We just have basically unlimited mana at this point, which is amazing. Let's go ahead and get out Koma because we're going to get to draw another card. You can't counter that, so we're going to draw another card. Now he might have a kill spell right here. He does, and that's perfectly fine. Let's activate our Flooded Strand, get some more treasure. Let's go ahead and get out an Ancient Cornucopia so we can start gaining some life. Put down a Flooded Strand, gain some treasure. This is pretty cool, actually. We're going to mill some more cards. Now let's cast Uro, which we know the top card is a land, so we'll take that. Let's get rid of the Flare, the Roiling, a land, Heroic Intervention, and the Planar Genesis. We're going to gain some life. Draw some cards, put down a... Oh my gosh. Are you guys seeing this? This is what Koma is all about. This ramp, this is amazing. How many cards is left? 66. We got plenty. Look at all the mana we have now. Now he does have a lot of mana, and there are some big artifact effects he could have. Okay, he's going to kill the Oracle. But our opponent is down to 13, so okay, 5-5. I don't know if it's a good move for our opponent to be sacrificing creatures and attacking in. You have a Death Toucher, you could block with that, but it's yeah, you're not going to win. We're going to, I mean, we've got 5-11 on the battlefield already, and we haven't even started our turn. We can put multiple lands down, multiple treasures. We have a counter spell. Fabled Passage on top will get us several treasures. We can easily get out Koma again. Even if our opponent casts some massive artifact or Ugin or anything like that, it's just not going to be enough. We've got way too much value. Even if you wipe the board completely with all the treasures and lands we have versus what our opponent has, there's just too much value there. Really good game. Playing against the Gitrog monster. So basically landfall deck. I've seen a lot of the Gitrog monster recently. Resurgence due to some of the newer cards like Ice Till, Strip Mine, those types of cards. This hand is a little slow. Let's mulligan. Wow. This hand... I like the Mox. We could get out Tireless Provisioner turn 2 if we want. We really need some other effects, though. Nissa's not going to be that great against. I'm going to try it. This is risky. Put down a land. Pass the turn. You notice I didn't put out the Chrome Mox yet. You don't have to put out your Chrome Mox right away. It's really tempting to. And he could have a duress where maybe he looks in our hand and takes the Chrome Mox. But a lot of times you want to wait for the right card to get out your Chrome Mox, if you can help it, if you don't have any early plays. Ugh, okay, this is kind of frustrating, but that's okay. We do need the Chrome Mox at this point. I'm unfortunately going to have to give up the walk-in closet. We're going to cast Into the North to get a land onto the battlefield. And then let's get out Nykthos. Now we could get out Nissa on our turn if he casts an artifact of some kind. Okay, Lotus Cobra. Nissa is a big threat here. So I'm going to go ahead and do it just to make him have to deal with it. We're going to start pumping out some creatures here to protect Nissa. Give him something else to think about while we focus on our Tireless Provisioner. He could theoretically get out the Gitrog monster this turn. I wonder if it makes sense to tap down the Gitrog monster with Koma. Probably. Alright. Opponent's doing his thing. Into the north for another land. Opponent is definitely ramped very well. That was a good turn for our opponent. Nissa is strong though. I'm gonna go ahead and go for Koma here. Let's get out another token. I'm gonna set a stop at the beginning of our opponent's turn. Let's go ahead and tap the Gitrog monster down. I'm going to be very aggressive on this next turn. He goes for Strip Mine. Of course he goes for Strip Mine. Opponent's going to sacrifice to destroy our Nykthos. I told you, Strip Mine Gitrog monster. What did I call it or not? This is scary. We're going to have to be so aggressive to get out of this. We don't have any removal spells being in green and blue, so we'll see. Opponent still has 5 mana. Opponent got his lands back, including the Strip Mine. They are tapped. Let's see what our opponent does here. Maybe the halfling and the map? On a positive note, if we swing in, we can do 15 damage here. That's exactly what our opponent does. Does this protect all It does. That is really good for our game, actually. Let's make another token. We're just going to have to be aggressive here. I want to keep up both the Spell Pierce and the Heroic Intervention, so I'm just going to swing in with everything. I'm going for maximum damage here. Opponent's going to take all of it. Pass the turn. We're going to make another token. Opponent's going to have to sacrifice a land. Opponent's going to destroy one of our islands, draw another card. We could use the Heroic Intervention here, but I do want to save it because I need us to win this game this turn. So I want our opponent to be tapped out as much as possible because we have a Spell Pierce and a Heroic Intervention up. Our opponent has all the cards in the world, though. But all we need to do is 4 damage. If we can do 4 damage to our opponent, we'll be in good shape. And we do have this combo here that's pretty helpful. Okay, our opponent's gonna use a Chrome Mox. He does have a lot of mana. Our opponent's going to try to use a culling ritual here. I'm going to use Heroic Intervention to protect all of our stuff. This is exactly what I was waiting for. Opponent can draw another card. We also have up the Spell Pierce to protect us in case he has something crazy. Opponent's going to draw another card, but I do think it's over. Opponent's going to try to cast Dark Ritual. I'm going to say no. I'm going to make sure he doesn't have the mana to cast anything. So now we're protected, and he is not. Now he does have 4 mana, but we are safe from pretty much everything. Opponent's down to 2. Has 5 mana. All of our creatures have indestructible as well as hexproof, so there's really nothing he can cast on them that will get rid of them. Okay, has a Mossborn Hydra. Perfectly fine. And opponent says good game. Opponent reanimates a Lotus Cobra and goes out with an honorable death. Whew. Koma carried us through the game. Koma put our opponent in a coma. Good game. Thank you, my friends, for watching another one of my videos, this one featuring Koma, Cosmos Serpent. Is Koma still good after all this time? Yes. Koma is still a fun magic card to play, and I do want to thank again Archer CGS for recommending me looking into this. I would put Koma at a high B to low A tier. As long as you can get out enough ramp cards early in the game, Koma can win you the game by itself. It's continually putting out all these 3/3s. It can become indestructible, tap in your opponent's stuff. It's still a huge viable threat, and being in the colors of green and blue mean that you can counter a lot of the things that your opponent is doing and also ramp quickly to get out some of the bigger cards that you want to play. I will say the only weakness that a Koma deck does have is early on in the game. You don't have a lot of viable threats if you focused on ramp. Cards like Ragavan can be a problem. Cards that do a lot of damage quickly or build up a lot of creatures quickly can be a problem. So you do want to focus on, when you have your opening hand, making sure you have a good amount of ramp, and then also, counter spells or some way to protect you early in the game so that you can get out Koma and just smash your opponent to bits. Thank you so much for watching my video. The deck list is in the description below. Please don't forget to like. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to leave a comment down below talking about Koma or another commander that you'd like me to look into, or why you think that mushrooms are not really all that great on a pizza. I don't really care as long as I talk to you, part of the Magic community. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.